Hey wilds, good morning. Happy full moon in Libra today. I decided just to do like a little teensy video. And then the more extended one will be coming through Patreon and the email subscription as things are slowly but surely kind of like changing and adjusting as I move towards more of a teacher and my apprenticeship program, as well as coaching readers to be able to read during these times. So you'll see all of that, you know, if you're an existing subscriber, but it's just kind of like developing. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump into some of the energetics of this full moon. So the full moon is in Libra, 18 degrees of Libra. It's not making any major conjunctions, although the energy in the air is, I mean, as you can see, pretty intense. So what we are looking at, though, is that anytime we have a full moon, the moon is in an opposition to the sun. That's what makes the full moon. When we have a new moon, that means that the moon and the sun are conjunct one another. So they're very, very like harmonious, and they're really shining a light on like the energy of the lunar cycle, which is 29 days, give or take. And so what we have with the full moon is the illumination, okay? It is like shining a light on the thing. It naturally creates tension, all right? And what happens during full moons is that we realize that, you know, what we need to let go of and what we need to celebrate. And as we start to move to the waning portion of the full moon, or of the lunar cycle, which is after the full moon, a couple days after, this is when we start to actually let go of the things that aren't in alignment. I have my kids, so be prepared. You might walk outside if they come down here. They're playing hide and go seek right now, though, so they're pretty well entertained. But so anyways, what the moon is opposing right now is the sun, which is in Aries. Okay, so we have a opposition, all right, 180 degrees opposing each other. Now what happens in oppositions is that we see it, we see the challenge, what's like directly in front of us. We can actually see it, all right, and we have to face it, okay? Every aspect has different energy behind it, but the opposition is like, it's like, you can see it, all right? You know the challenge. And what Libra rules relationships, marriage. It's ruled by Venus, which is Aphrodite. So it's like committed relationships, marriage, and resources and beauty. So it could be a lot about self-esteem. It could be a lot about your possessions. It could be a lot about your relationships. But the other aspect of Libra is justice, okay? Justice, the balance. It is like Libra rules the Justice card in tarot, as well as the Two of Swords, having to make decisions. And as a Libra sun, this full moon is conjuncting my sun and my Mercury in the 11th house, which is trining Jupiter, my Jupiter, which is in Aquarius at 7 degrees, which is conjunct that Saturn, that 0 degree Saturn in Aquarius. I personally feel a lot of restriction around community, because Aquarius is community driven and Jupiter is expansion. So anyways, that's a little bit about me. But you might feel that too, okay? And I'll tell you why. So that opposition that's going on between the full moon, which is the sun in Aries opposing the moon in Libra, all right, 18 degrees, is that it has a T-square to Eris, all right? Now, Eris is the goddess of destruction and revolution, very much like Pluto or like the archetype of Kali, okay? And so without consciousness, this energy can just be like implosions, especially because the background energy of everything is Jupiter in a conjunction with Pluto at 25 degrees or 24 degrees of Capricorn, all right? And us astrologers, I mean, you just need to scroll back, get on my YouTube. But we've been talking about this conjunction for well over a year, and we've all been wondering like how this was going to play out, you know, 0 degree Saturn and Aquarius. And the fact that, you know, Saturn rules things like restriction and control, and, you know, Aquarius is community, it, you know, social distancing. It's like, it's kind of like, an obnoxious slap on the face. I feel like, though, I feel like the universe was like, how can we make this really literal? But essentially, you know, Saturn's also responsibility, and Aquarius rules community. So feeling responsible for your community, okay? This energy feels heavy, all right? Now, Jupiter is going to come into 2 more conjunctions with Pluto over the year. These are what, you know, us astrologers, and we're just astrologers, we're not doctors, okay? These are just our little predictions, is that, you know, the next one is in June. I believe it's June 30th. And then the final one in 2020 is, I think, November 12th. I have to double check that last Jupiter conjunction of Pluto. But anyways, anytime, you know, that Jupiter has come into a big conjunction with Pluto, historically, astrologically, we have noticed that, you know, some pretty intense things have happened that have had long-term change, which Pluto rules things like long-term change, all right? So for example, would be like 9/11, World War II, the Great Depression, you know, like it has lasting effects on society globally, all right? Pluto is very, very like powerful aspect of the natal chart, as well as like the transits in terms of like their energetics, in the sense that like you don't really feel Pluto until you feel Pluto, all right? Like Pluto takes over 200 years to make a return. America is coming up on its Pluto return. And so, you know, when, like, for example, I live near Dayton, Ohio. And when Dayton had its Pluto return, you know, like Pluto was sitting on top of its Capricorn moon. Dayton has a Capricorn moon. Within about 6 months' time, we had a shooting. We had a KKK rally. And then we had 16 F3 and up tornadoes come through our city and devastate our city, all right? It just happens like overnight, all right? It's crazy. So I'm not saying that it's gonna be like that. You know, I don't do those kinds of readings. I'm just saying that this energy that we're in feels like a compression tank, okay? And so for Libra says, I connect. You could be feeling like this deep, deep, deep need to be connected. And so it's so important that you understand that if you're quarantined with someone in a relationship, like, can you guys find the balance? Because Libra is very diplomatic. However, Libra, and I can speak to this because I have a Libra sun and an Aries moon, so this is an intense one for me, is the aspect of, can Libra hold its ground and stay diplomatic and fair and just? And, you know, because Libra in its high expression is a truth seeker. It thinks with its head over its heart, though. It's very just like get to the picture, right? Like it's looking for the just truth. It doesn't really care. So Libra is also called the devil's advocate. It just wants the truth. It just wants to be the balance. A lot of Libras are politicians, judges, like actual judges, you know, the scales. They're always trying to judge. And then, you know, the aspect of Aries is the individual. It's the warrior. It really, and Aries, like, and I talked about this a lot in my previous, like the Aries, when the sun moved into Aries. Aries, it's the warrior. And so Aries sometimes will start shit to be at war because it feels the most at peace in conflict. Okay, so try to be mindful. Like there is a lot of destruction energy in the air right now, and anytime there's a full moon, it's intense. And this is a super full moon. It's the closest the moon is going to get to Earth in 2020, so it's going to feel very intense. And you know, Libra is an air sign, so it's like, can you meditate? Can you get above it? Can you like turn on some Ram Dass, like Be Here Now podcast, and like, how can you move into this more connected space to the divine, all right? Because that is a really beautiful energy here. I know that I need to let some more like tumultuous things pass. But the thing is like, it doesn't matter how long you let this energy pass. If you've got relationship issues that need to be worked through, they're going to be worked through in the next 2 weeks, okay? And this energy is here to help you. It's just be mindful because you could kind of burn some things down if you're not mindful of that. So all of that being said, don't forget to clear your spaces, you know, open up your windows, smoke clear your spaces, and set out your crystal grids. Put your crystal babies underneath the full moon. It's going to be a really great one known as the pink moon, which I love. Refresh your altars and, you know, honor yourself and the other. That is the polarity between these two. Happy full moon, wilds. Mwah, mwah. Bye.